Thanks, everybody, for coming in. This is an internal meeting to discuss Aster Tango, which is a Aster authoring tool for data scientists or practitioners of Aster. One of the things that has frustrated me over the past 3 years as a practitioner of Aster is the fact that there's no one place where you can go to actually go get help or write or script out your SQL-MR or SQL-GR statements. Now, we've done some great work around TD Studio, and I actually worked with Aquadata Studio last year with Lee Parise in getting them to actually put those statements inside of Aquadata Studio. And they were successful to do that. Now, it's also in Teradata Studio 15.10, I believe, and it works fairly well. And, but if you're a data scientist with Aster, you spend a tremendous amount of time in this. You spend a tremendous amount of time in this Analytics Foundation guide. You spend a lot of time there. You look for the analytic you need. You search for it. You do something like this, and you put in text parser, something like that, and you hopefully land on the area where you can find it. So you come in here like so, and you go in here. Maybe you read this, maybe you don't. You come down, and very few people, at least the people I know, and I'll let the other data scientists and other people, talk to their experiences, and there's a lot of people who have that experience on this call today. But what you do is you come in here like so, and you right mouse click and you copy that statement, or you might even come up here and you might, cut and paste this particular statement right here, which is, very cumbersome to do because you're going to have to remove all these little squiggly marks and whatnot. So one of the things that I built was this Aster Tango to get through that. Because even though I cut and paste down here, I may not have all the predicates that I need in order to really take advantage of this text parser SQL-MR statement. Now, very few data scientists memorize how these statements work. Now, there might be some geniuses out there that can actually memorize how to actually code every one of these statements, but I really doubt that they really can code a complete set of SQL-MR statements and all the predicates that come along with it. It's a fairly cumbersome thing to ask. What's important is that you know what you need to run when you need to run it, and you're it's also part of that fail fast or succeed fast or whatever you want to call it, where you change directions and telemetries fast. So what I did was over my vacation while in Bulgaria, I actually wrote this tool called Aster Tango. Everybody asks, it's basically an Aster workbench. So why Tango? I was in the middle of coding one night, and there's not a lot of TV on in Bulgaria that I can understand, but I was watching Scent of a Woman, and the tango song and the tango dance in that movie came on. It's a really pretty song. That's cool. Let's call it Aster Tango. So that's how that came about. I don't care what it's named. I don't care who owns this going forward. I don't care if this gets toileted or sent to the closet and never lives again. I think I'll continue to build this only in my spare time and free time, only because I'm selfish and I want a fast and easy way to be able to write and construct Aster analytic statements. I also don't want to have to flip back and forth to this manual every time I need to learn how to do something. The other thing that this does, and I've shown this to a couple of customers, is that it really exposes the customer to the entire set of analytics that are available in Aster. If I look here, I've got different genres of analytics. I've even included now an ANSI SQL genre and an Aster DBA genre for specific statements that are specific to Aster, like a vacuum full or a vacuum, like a vacuum statement and things like that. Eventually what I would put in there is just generic statements that people use, right? Like maybe there's a way to put a statement in there for looking for, a skew in a table or fragmentation in a table. Maybe I could just have a script that's generic to that, and I could run that, right? So if I come in here, what this is, I'll just click all genres for now, but you'll see statistics, you'll see text, you'll see graph, you'll see path, you'll see attribution, you'll see clustering. Now, I have not had the time to put everything in the actual tool itself, but if you come in here like so, I just clicked on genres, you'll see that an alphabetized list of the analytics that are in the system is ready to go. You'll also see this help and description right here. And as you hover over certain areas, you'll see that that changes based on where you are, and it tells you what it does. You know, this is a list box containing all available Aster analytics that can be authored with this tool. Click on any entry, and you will start filling in the statement on the right. Then you click over here and so forth. And let's go ahead and let's build an n-gram statement. So you click on n-gram, and this is all running in Aster Express. Bam, there's the statement. You'll notice that there's also a build a table with the table name and with the hash field if you want to use one. Now, before I get into the rest of this, you know that CFilter and statements like CFilter don't require a build a table. They have a table output inside of one of the predicates and so forth. So I'll get to how that would work. If this were a CFilter, which I haven't built yet, this build a table would not show up. So if I wanted to build a table with this, I would just say click build a table, and I would say public my table. Okay, and I would give it a hash column if I wanted to actually build a distribute by hash. If I left this empty, I would build a replication table, right? And so let's just go ahead and we'll put an ID in there just for giggles, right? You'll see that these are I can't click them out, right? And you'll see that they're bold, right? That means that in order to successfully write an n-gram function, you must fill these in. You'll see that grams and reset these are also mandatory fields, right? You'll see that the non-mandatory fields are in a non-bold fashion, and that they're blued out. I cannot click in them, right? So you'll also see that I can activate them if I want to, and I'll get to that in a little bit. Eventually, let me back that up. So I click over and I mouse over the select from n-gram. Look at your help and description down here, right here where my mouse is moving. So I come in here like so, background. The n-gram function tokenizes or splits the input stream of the text. Right now, this is directly from our manual. So what I've done is I've copied and pasted this into the Tango tables. Yes, everything in that Aster analytic genre, everything in the actual analytics that are being created, and the analytics themselves are stored in tables in Aster. So nothing in this tool is hard-coded. So as new analytics come on, or as changes are made to an existing analytic, the tables can be modified and updated or versioned so that we can actually change the code and the way these parameters work. So let's go ahead and fill in the on statement. So this would be public my data table, right? And then I would fill in the column name, so some column, right? Now, the questions I get here is, John, why don't I just log into a schema or say I want to explore the schema and gain the tables or the views that could be the inputs to this? That is something I will eventually build into this, so that when I do select this table from, this would then, once I choose my database and my schema, the list of tables and views would pop into a drop-down box like this over here to the left, and would be able to, it would be pre-populated with those tables and views that are available. Now I can also write a query for this as well. And then down here, subsequently, if I chose a table or a view, the columns that belong to that table or view would also populate into a combo box down here as well. So that's coming, but it's not something I have on my radar right now. So I have my number of grams, 2, right? Let's just say we're going to build 2 grams. And reset, we'll just use some regex expression. I don't memorize regex, but let's just for sake of this, we'll do that. Now, we also want to include this delimiter. So you'll see as I go down and I mouse over the actual predicates, look at the help. Watch the help as I mouse over. So this is some data source. This is the name of the column whose contents will be tokenized. Only one column is permitted. So I actually put in help for all of the predicates themselves, so I can now explore what it is I want to do, right? I can look at and I can see what does case sensitive mean. Obviously, it means it's going to look at case sensitivity and things like that differently. Overlapping, so it's going to look at things like shingling for that analytic and whatnot. So what do I want to do to activate this? So you'll notice this is blue. I can't click in there, and I come over here. I want to choose a delimiter. I then activate that. It is now part of the analytic itself. So I come in here and I choose a pipe delimiter just for grins and giggles. Now I'm done. Or let's add an overlapping because I do want to implement shingling. So let's go ahead and do that and put in true, and we're pretty much done. Eventually what I'm going to do is, and I've got metadata behind this, and I'll get into that a little bit later, is I'm going to actually check the syntax. So you click here, you check the syntax, I'm going to highlight it red, and I'm going to say, hey, you left out a ending parenthesis, or you left out a single quote, right? That kind of a thing. And we're going to give them some intelligence about the shortcomings they have in their script. Now, I've got mathematical ways of doing that, and it's based on business rules, based on the types of predicates that I've seen patterns in. Now, that's coming. It's not something I've built yet. So once I'm done with this, I want to add a script. Bam, I just added a script for building out an ngram. So I come here to view scripts, and looky there. There's your code. All right, so I just generated a create table, public my table, distribute by hash ID, which is up here, as select star from ngram on public my table, my data table, text column, sum call, delimiter pipe, grams 2, overlapping true, and reset gen x. Now, I could put in here, and this is coming too, I haven't built this out yet. Remember, I built this over my vacation in about 30 hours. I could put in John's cool play. Now, I could hit save, and it would save this out and persist this back into the database. I'm also looking at putting in a run button, and I've actually looked for something called ssh.net, which I'm going to be able to actually create a virtual SSH session. I want to implement a screen. I want to give that screen a name, and I want to pop that, and I want to send that in and just destroy that SSH connection and go back to it later and actually save the name. I'll give it some sort of GUID, and I'll save the name of that screen session, and I'll be able to actually implement and run this code in a screen that is not connected to this particular thing, right? And once that's done, I'll be able to actually check on it and actually see if it's done and collect the output. And we can do that through an ACT command by passing that through into that SSH command with this code inside of the ACT command. So if I were to save this play, I also want to be able to say generate star.sql, where I'd say John's cool play.sql. Then I could generate a script that I could save to my desktop, and then I could share with other people. Because one of the things we want to do is I want to have preloaded scripts in here. Maybe we have scripts for parsing text data or CRM notes, or maybe we have something for this is an approach to a churn model, or maybe, you know, like for naive Bayes and our naive Bayes play for churn. Maybe we have these preloaded scripts that actually teach and instruct people how to take advantage of this product. So, and so what we've done in essence is we've built a scripting tool, we've built an adoption tool, we've built a catalog of all available statements and whatnot, and we built a way to actually build scripts and share knowledge. So let's go ahead and let's build a text parser statement. So I click on text parser, it goes back to the database, and let's take out this ID, and I didn't clear that, so there's a bug here. So we'll call it mytable2 _2. We'll add in, again, public .sum table, and we'll put in the text column of my call. And we'll also throw in a case sensitive of something like this, and we'll say true. And we'll just call it that. I'll hit add script. Now watch this. Because we've taken out the hash field, we're not going to build a replication table. What are the risks within a replication table? Well, anything under 1 million records is okay for a replication table. We want to warn these people that when they build a replication table that they're at risk, right? So probably, depending on the size of the table that I'm going against, my sum table in here, probably building a replication table for a text parser type of algorithm probably isn't the wisest choice, right? We just want to make people aware of that. You're probably going to have more than 1 million records, and what that replication table is going to do is create an instance of that table in every vWorker on the Aster platform, and that could be quite expensive, and it could take a long time to do. So we hit OK. It's OK. Just because we do a syntax check or just because they build that replication table, I'm not going to stop them from being able to do that. So I come back here to view script, and bam, there's my next text parser. So actually document, Tango Analytic Generator, et cetera, and whatnot. So I could come in here and I can actually say, start authoring here myself, right? So let's say I'm greedy and I'm fast and I don't want to save anything. I just copy this thing. I come back to my query window here, and I want to just run this now. I just want to use that as a complete scripting tool. Well, I cut and paste this in here. Now I've got this and it's ready to go, right? Inside of, we're in Aqua Data Studio right now, and I just want to run this thing. I've got documentation. I got everything coming over. You can see the syntax work. Look how it automatically, it has that alert of the different statements and whatnot, and I'm ready to go. And so the idea here is to, and everybody I've shown this to, and I won't speak for who they are, has been like, when can I get my hands on this? I would use this. When can I be a beta tester?